Okay, so it's the 1st of July, folks, and it's Doctor's Day. So we are having just an impromptu session with Dr. Rupa Shah and Dr. Atul Shah, who are the founders of Healing Temple. We will be just having a very impromptu conversation with them, and they will share their ideas, their visions, and their life and the journey up to this point. So this is Dr. Rupa Shah. She's one of the leading or one of the very few medical doctors in India who's vegan. And she has been in this path for almost over 13 years. And she was at the forefront of starting and propelling the vegan movement forward in India with another very small handful of other doctors with her. Hello, Dr. Rupa Shah.
So hello, thank you Nandita for having me. Since last night, 12 o'clock, I've been flooded with so many happy Doctor's Day and thank you messages that I'm really touched, very overwhelmed. I had never thought of this day or even a thank you. In my clinic, when a patient comes, I just do my work, it's like my profession, but it's my passion really to help the person. And when the people, patients get well, they don't come. Very rarely, once in a while, some people just come in, drop me a note, or especially thank me. When they don't come, most of the time, I know they are well now, so they don't remember. It's a very unique profession that I always tend to see sick people more than healthy people. But that's the way it is. And I've been a doctor for more than 37 years, as basically an allopathic doctor. But as soon as I finished my allopathy, I also wanted to explore various alternative remedies and therapies, also called as natural remedies and therapies. So I started with studying homeopathy, acupuncture, magnetotherapy, acupressure, massage, aromatherapy, and finally I came across the flower remedies from England, from Dr. Bach.
Let's slow down a little bit, because there's actually a very interesting transition.
All right,
You
sure.
as an MBBS doctor, so we would like to know more about that.
Sure.
I will like to, let's just go back to the beginning.
Sure.
And when did you decide to be a doctor? Because your father is a CA.
Right. I come from a family of chartered accountants and everybody, lots of accountants in my family. And we have like Mehta surname, so it's in our blood, in our genes, I would say. So it's a tradition that everybody has to become a chartered accountant. But, well, I don't know from where, but I just thought I should be a doctor. But even before becoming a doctor, I wanted to become an architect. And I actually even gave the exams, the entrance exam. But I also had 12th standard, science exam, and I scored extremely well. And so there was a dilemma whether I want to do medicine or, become architect or something else. Then one day my father sat with me and he explained to me that, there are very few women doctors in this country. That was 37 years ago. And if you become a doctor, you will be able to really serve people. You will be able to see the women and children, who need women doctor. And it will be a greater service to society. It will be, you will add value to society. Somehow he changed my mind that I'll be more useful. And then I just, decided, and I took up the medicine. I went to TNMC, that's Naya Hospital, Topiwala National Medical College, in 79. And when I joined the college, I wasn't, I was like going to become a proper allopathic doctor. But towards the last year of my study, I came across meditation and spirituality and other aspects of life. And I was suddenly like my world was open up about mind, emotions, and body as a total person, holistic approach. Then I realized that allopathy was only handling a part, not the whole, and the perception was very different. So I chose another path. I traveled across the world. I visited so many doctors. I got exposed to so many different types of therapies and perspective on health and disease. And this is how, like, I became doctor. but I chose a different path. So my favorite lines are always this, the poem by Robert Frost, who says that there were two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by. But then that has made the difference. I would say that there was not even a proper road, but like we had to make the road, we had to learn on the way. There was a lot of learning, lots of patience, lots of new ways of thinking, applying, holistic approach, new therapies, natural remedies, looking at long-term health, not just short-term gain, and always helping a patient from mind first, then emotions, and then body in this order. You can get better in your body, but what if you are depressed after a course of medication? Your body better, but mentally depressed, then that's not the way. That's not correct. It has to be healing across the board. So it's been quite an interesting journey. And then I met my husband, Dr. Atul Shah.
I will again stop you here.
All
That
right, sure.
so I know. I mean, you're giving a very interesting narrative, but because I've been working for you for almost 3-4 years, I know a little bit about you that not many people know. I think this spark of trying to heal people, and also the spark to create. There are two different sides of you, to create something big and to help other people move towards their journey to healing. That's a very different side of you. So let's go back to before you got married. So can you tell me what were your challenges at that time as a doctor? I mean, did you question your teachers as to why? Did you realize the limitations of allopathy at that time?
Yes, yes, I was extremely clear by the time, I passed out from the medical college. Even during my internship, I started learning homeopathy. And that both the systems, their foundations, their perspective of disease are totally different. And so even it started right from then, questioning. I had already allopathic knowledge for a disease, and then I was looking at other ways of healing, and there were many, many questions. But I also started then practicing initially as a homeopathic doctor, though I had degree in allopathy, but I also learned homeopathic medicine, and then the results were incredibly good. Then there was no looking back. I said, wow, this is the system that needs to be promoted. It needs to be talked about. But over the years, I can see that Western medicine is more popular. It's kind of constantly telling people that XYZ diseases are not reversible. In fact, they are reversible. And the challenges were like this, that like always we are told this is not curable, this is not reversible, this is for life, or this only has to be treated superficially by applying some medication. Here it was totally different, the holistic. You treat the person, not the disease. You treat the person with the disease. You look at the person's history. You look at the mind, emotions. Where is the cause? Is the cause in diet? Is the cause in lifestyle? Is the cause in negative thinking? So like I read so many books, I met so many doctors, and I was really learning and observing them, how they were treating patients. At that time, there was no internet. The books were very less. So whenever we travel abroad, like out of our 4 bags, it would be one bag would be full of books of all kinds. We would go to a very special books, somewhere in Boulder, Colorado, or in New York, some very special books shops. Only those book shops were keeping. Even there was no internet, no Amazon to order. So our annual trip, would be always lots of like 30, 40 books, and then we would read through, discuss, learn, and then where we learned a lot more is the Indian flower remedies. Then we decided to make the flower remedies from Indian flowers, only taking the healing energy or the bioenergy of Indian flowers, and then making the remedy and helping our patients. This became the mission of our life, to see what is the healing potential of flower. And there has been no looking back, because it's been so fantastic journey, so many different flowers, exploration. There are about 2,000 flowers from all over the world that have been researched, and our Indian flowers are also added to it. And we also participated in many such conferences across the globe on flower remedies. It's kind of a very different journey. There you have your allopathic degree, and you could easily prescribe those medicines and forget about it. Instead of that, now we are prescribing our own flower remedies. And they're just only healing energy transferred in water, just the bioenergy. There is no material or chemical transfer. And it's explained by what is called as quantum physics or quantum medicine. This is a completely new way of looking at human body. And I think in 37 years, what it has become really big.
Hello.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, what type of books would you be interested in at that time? And that were not available in India. Can you share some of the areas, the subjects?
So one of my trips while returning from US, I had a book by Dr. Bernie Siegel, and he talked about love, medicines, and miracles. And throughout my journey, like I just couldn't take my eyes off. I was reading and reading. This is the first time a surgeon in America had written a book about cancer patients, and he talked about love, medicine, and miracles. And he talked about how mind played a very important role in treating cancer patients. And like I was so overwhelmed. I never read a book like this before. And this is my one of the first initial exposure that I remember, that a regular MD doctor talked about exceptional cancer patients and their traits and why some recover and why some don't recover. So it was very fascinating. So this is like one of the books. And then there was another book that I read by Dr. Richard Gerber that my husband wrote uh, in one of his trips to Canada, where there was an international conference. And Dr. Richard Gerber wrote this very fantastic book. It is called as Vibrational Medicine. There he described about all kinds of energy remedies, basically energy medicine. And that book I read like a Bible a few times, and I have a habit of doing tick marks with pencil. And it's a treasure. I never part with such books with anybody. Even till today, I reread those books. So now
Amazing.
Dr. Atul is also here, and maybe you want
Okay.
to catch up with him
Oh,
because he's
great.
busy. He was on a long distance call.
Hi.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Atul Shah. Dr.
Hi.
Atul Shah is the co-founder of Healing Temple, and they have been practicing medicine for over 30, 35, 40 years now.
Yes.
And these are the very few doctors, probably in India, definitely in Mumbai, but in India, who have, in spite of being medical doctors, they have gone beyond, and they have doing their own research of a path called energy medicines, bioenergy medicines, and flower remedies. So, and I have myself experienced such tiny little miracles with Dr. Atul Shah when I've been in the clinic. Hello, Dr. Atul.
Hi.
We're glad
Hi.
that you're joining us. A very, very happy Doctor's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
this is a time that all of us as patients, me being a patient of both of you, would like to thank you from my heart. That, I mean, and I've seen how you heal people. So it's amazing. Your journey is amazing, and we want to know more about it right now. So,
Okay. I'm basically a radiologist. I took my training in India, and then I was in USA, and I was one of the first neuroradiologists from Asia to take training in neuro MRI. Okay. So that was way back in 81, 82. I'm a medical doctor for last 47 years, and I've been practicing now this new therapy, which is called as a bioenergy remedies. And me and my wife, we are the pioneer in the world for making Indian flower remedies and the bioenergy remedies. So this is basically the energy medicine and not the chemical medicine. So that's the big difference in that. And we have gone through lots of things in our life. We have seen wonderful results, miracles, and sometimes we are called as a magicians. Okay, that's what the people reaction is. That in just say about 60 seconds and 90 seconds. I'm talking of seconds only. 90 seconds, people get the relief in their pain.
yes.
So they are completely amazing.
Yes, yes. Dr. Atul Shah and Dr. Rupa Shah, they've developed a series of gadgets that will remove and sprays and inhalers and small little respiratory gadgets that will relieve you from any kind of sickness that you have within a few seconds. You know, maximum 2 minutes. So, I mean, I remember that you had a gadget that would remove the toxicity for outside food. You had such a gadget that will remove the toxicity or even the, what do you call it, the addiction levels of tobacco, and you've changed the taste of water. I remember. And you have that little magical pen of yours.
See, we have got certain devices. So it is very small dish type of thing. You put it under the table, and whatever things are there on the table, this will get deactivated all the negative things. So if there are poisons or some harmful chemicals which are there, most of them get deactivated just by giving just putting the disc below it for 15 seconds only. And there are certain things called as a transnasal therapy, where we just put the air like this small. It's a small portable machine. You can see here. I can hold it in my hand and just put it near the nose like this for 5 minutes. And sometimes you get tremendous miraculous and positive results, favorable results, and sometimes only one treatment is sufficient. Okay, like that.
Okay, so I was asking Dr. Rupa Shah about how she decided to be a doctor. So I would like to ask you the same thing.
What was
And we are going back into the past a little bit.
Basically, my background is from my childhood. I was supposed to become an engineer only. And I took my engineering subjects in my school only from that onwards. I stood first in my school also, in engineering subject, and also stood third in the SSC board in my engineering subjects. So that was, and I was very poor at the writing the essays, extremely poor till today I am. Okay. But anyway, then suddenly one fine day I decided that I will join medical, and in those days the engineers were not doing well, so I decided what to do. Let me go. But my engineering genes are still there in my body, and that is how I am just still making all the devices, machines, which are gadgets, which are there. So from there, I went into medical. In the medical, again, I went for a radiologist. So when you say radiology, it is with the machine again. And then I went to learn about from X-rays to MRI. And from MRI, I came back. I decided to. I had a green card, everything there in US, and I was in one of the best hospitals, which is Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York, which is a cancer hospital and very famous one for the in USA also. So there suddenly I developed some ideas and I decided to come back to India, and that's how I'm here for all these years. I've given up my green card, everything, and then yes, yeah. And my father was also a doctor, and he practiced for almost up to the age of 88. And his wish was that he wanted to die in shoes, and almost his wish were completed. So just 4 or 5 days before his death, he was not active. Otherwise, he continued going to the his clinic continuously. He used to go on Sundays, which I also do it against my wife's desire. But I still work and still work up to sometimes 1 to 2 o'clock night. Okay. So completely dedicated to this work.
Okay. So the next question is now that how did you all meet? How did these two doctors meet?
Oh, me and Rupa?
Yes.
This is again a very interesting way. I was working in one of the charitable institute there, and I was not giving a lot of importance to homeopathy. Okay. But the doctors who were working there, we were friends. So once in a while we will talk and exchange the ideas. And suddenly I felt that yes, homeopathy has got some power also. And generally in allopathic field, we think that homeopathy means 6 months. You take medicine today and you will get effect after 6 months. But I saw some amazing results in few minutes also, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes also. Sometimes results were there, positive, favorable results by taking homeopathy medicine. So I happened to talk to some homeopathy doctor, and I thought of then just venturing into something new, innovative in homeopathy, and that's how I was talking to her, and from there she told me, I said I will trust only any doctor who is an allopathy doctor and practicing homeopathy. So she gave me somebody's name, and since she said that I'll try to find out, I said I don't know. So this doctor told me that I will find out for you. She found out. It took 3-4 months to find out who is she, and then she gave me the address of Dr. Rupa, and that's how we met for the first time. And from that day onwards, we never looked back.
Okay. Okay. So, would you all have cases now? Once you all got after you all got married, and you all started taking on cases together. So, I mean, can you describe a typical how you combine allopathy when you diagnose a patient? How do you combine allopathy with homeopathy or any other alternative treatment?
First thing, our therapy, which is a bioenergy medicine, is complementary to any therapy. First, okay. Most of the time, you can take as a complementary medicine. So we don't want to project as an only alternative. It is alternative also, but we are not projecting, and we want other doctors to join with us and join their hands to show a better result. So instead of 1 + 1 = 2, I want to make 1 + 1 = 11. Okay. So that's what our desire is, that let's join hands together and work together. And it is not going to affect either side therapy. So it will add something, but they are not going to lose anything. So that is the first thing that we would like to join hands with allopathy, because I am an allopathic doctor. I have got allopathic background, and all my diagnosis, one of the way is to do by allopathic way. That means we do all the blood tests, X-rays, whatever is required. Okay, we do all the investigation to prove it that before and after treatment, how much patient has improved. Okay, that's the basic thing we have. We are not going off track, because that is the mainstream in today's date. Hopefully, the bioenergy medicine is going to be a mainstream in 2025. That's what my guess.
I know that as a patient, Dr. Atul, you have can you hear me? I think the signal seems a little weak, but I'm just waiting for the data connection to come back. I've lost you. Dr. Atul, Dr. Rupa, I think I've lost them. Okay, they will be back in a minute. So while they're establishing the connection, I think we are still live. Yes. Yes, we had lost you for a bit. So my question, I'm repeating your question, is that Dr. Atul, you have a very unique way of diagnosing the patient in the first meeting itself. You not only ask for your medical reports, but there is a very unique series of questions that you ask your patient, which is unique perhaps to only you. So can you share those techniques?
Yeah, first thing is that what we do is that there are color bottles here with us, So we tell the patient to look at that bottles, color bottles, and they are in two different colors. So one is oil based and water based. So you can get two different colors in one bottle. Okay. So that is what we tell them, and they choose that particular color bottle. From that, we know at which level, which chakra is affected. Okay, and that is the root cause of the problem. People ask, how do you know? How I just selected this bottle because the energy, the area which is lacking that energy, takes that energy through your eyes and goes to that. So that's how you choose that particular color. And so from that color, we know this is the area which is affected. Another thing is we ask complete detailed study, uh, that means we ask them history of past and present also. So past whatever. Sometimes we go beyond, and that is we ask for the kids if they are asthmatic kids or epilepsy in the kids, chronic pain in those people. We ask the intrauterine life, what were the emotion and mental pattern of their mother during that 9 months of pregnancy. If she was suffering from shock, she was suffering from fear, she was suffering from any abuses, all these things will go and imbibe into the fetus. And when they are born, it will show those effects like that. And one more step we go is that sometimes we ask 3 months prior to the pregnancy, the history of the father. Okay, so the father of that child, we ask their history that what was his mental and emotional pattern. Very, very important, because that goes into the sperm, and then that is carried from the sperm to the in the zygote, like that.
Okay. Oh. Anyway,
So a lot of detailed things. So we combine clinical approach, then we combine with whatever the blood findings are there, and what is the mental emotional pattern of that person also. Very, very important, because all the diseases, there has to be a mental and emotional pattern with that. Even from, for example, injury is there. Okay, injury, if it is there, there is a shock which is imbibed at that moment. Okay, so if you treat the shock, the pain will reduce on the spot. So this is how, just not giving the analgesics for the pain, but if you can take care of the shock part of it, which you can give it through the flower remedies, excellent results, and the patient will show, patient can start smiling in 5 minutes time,
okay.
like that.
So both of you as doctors, you all have developed not only your typical diagnostic procedure, a clinical procedure for diagnosing a sickness for a patient. You all even study the psychology and the choices the person has made. And
then and then we have developed a couple of, not developed, but we have got some machines from Germany and Russia that we do what is called as a biofeedback and the hair analysis. By doing hair analysis, we know what is the nutritional deficiency and what are the toxins in the body. We can find out just in 15 minutes. We get the report from Germany after putting the hair into the machine, and whole procedure takes, taking out the hair is less than 60 seconds, and then sending the report. We get in 15 minutes the report, detailed report about what is their status of that, whether you've got radiation problem coming from cell phone or something like that, and the toxicity in your body, vitamin deficiency, we've got bacterial infection, viral infection, all the post-viral infection, what happens, all these things are there in that. So we take the help of such devices also and do the analysis.
so these devices have come from Russia or Germany?
So one is from Russia, that is a biofeedback, and the hair analysis from Germany.
Okay. So you collaborate with this particular company, and there are such machines available that
Yeah,
go
there are
beyond.
I think there are very few in India. I think I am the only person having in the west zone of India, north zone, and east zone of India. I'm the only person who is doing this type of stuff. There are a couple of people in South Zone doing it.
All right, all right. And at the same time, Dr. Rupa Shah, I think 13 years ago, we've already covered it that she became vegan. And you also have gone deep and into alternative medicine. You've done your own research. And you also
Yes.
have a very unique way of a keen insight into your patient within the first 20 minutes of meeting that person. How did you develop that kind of insight?
So over the years, as we interact with our patient, I would say that the story of that patient, as soon as the patient walks into the clinic, the way he walks, the way he talks, what are their gestures, how they are sitting, how they are talking. I always tell them that your story is written on your forehead, and I have the ability to read it. I'm listening also that which is not told by the patient.
Yes.
That is the art of listening. A doctor have to be very gentle, accepting, non-judgmental, and let the patient release all the secrets that they have kept and not reveal to anybody else. Because you do not hide from God, and the second one is you do not hide from doctor. But if you tell and share everything and you feel great confidence in doctor, then we will be able to treat you better. So I establish this rapport. I give them the space, and then the history is very beautifully taken, and I am able to reach a diagnosis or conclusion at a faster pace. And then we write down our notes and say that these are the different things that we need to do with you, whether this happened, that happened at the emotional level or something happened at the lifestyle level. All these things we study and then decide the various set of flower remedies and bioenergy remedies and some of our therapy sessions. And usually we want patients to start feeling better, not after many months, but from day one. Day one onwards, sometimes as quick as few minutes, the results are seen. When they start feeling better, then we understand that this patient, now we can help him reverse the diagnosis. So over the years, we have seen all kinds of incurable cases, and starting from maybe psoriasis or arthritis or avascular necrosis of head of the femur or worm cystosarcosis in the brain, or some of the cancers like testicular cancer and lymphomas. And so all these patients, when they came initially, we didn't know how to treat or what exactly was the way. But as we moved along, we got some of them actually reverse their diseases. And so this becomes like a very rich experience for us to learn. We always learn more, not necessarily from our successes, but more from our failures. When a patient doesn't improve, there's much more to learn. And these days, there are so many autoimmune disorders, so many diseases, so many different things that people come up with. Every case is unique. And most of the time, the patients who come have already been everywhere else. And I call them like, literally, they've tried, they're exhausted, they don't even have much money. It's more like a garbage cases. And in them, we help them. And even we have to dig a lot and understand and then help them. It's kind of exciting journey also for us as doctors to help patients reverse their so-called irreversible cases or diseases or diagnosis. It's kind of very learning, and one of the most important thing that as a doctor we go through every single day, even till today, is to unlearn that we had learned in medical college and learn new things and always remain very open to new knowledge. And that has helped us a lot. When you are open, even at this age, to want to learn and see health and disease in different way, then something new you can learn. I think this learning will never end till the end of our life. Both of us will keep doing this. We love, we are very passionate about helping our patients, and a smile on a patient's face makes our day. If somebody got better, we have a story to share with each other. So and so patient got better. And sometimes patients come and touch our feet, and that's like our $1 million for that day. That's our complete gift, And over the years, it has happened. Now we've been seeing sometimes 3 generations in the same family, treating. It's been extremely fulfilling journey.
Can you share it?
I would like to say, I won't say, yeah. I would say that it is not unlearning, but rethinking of whatever we have learned it.
Yes.
We have to add something to it. Otherwise, that approach may be a little different. So, whatever there is nothing to go waste. But if we have learned something and misunderstood, then how to rectify that and those things. That is what we are doing it. Another thing I want to tell you that in this our approach of this treatment, we have got a lot of things like not only the oral medicine, but there is, as I showed you about the transnasal therapy, or we have got a sprays, patch technology is there, subcutaneous injections are there. In lately, we've been very keenly observing because we have been just successful with almost successful with COVID treatment. I would say that we have got some accidental finding that with the help of that, we are able to now treat hyperglycemia, that is diabetes, and also hypertension. So it is like a accidental finding that we got it, and we are some very, very encouraging results we are getting it with that. And patients are able to reduce their medicines remarkably.
So can you throw some light into a typical accidental finding that you say? How do you
I
come across and stumble upon such solutions? Can you throw some
light? So
light
happened
in?
about 1.5 to 2 months back. So 1.5 to 2 months back, since I was treating this COVID and infections, and when I got the patient was improving, they started and complete recovery, 100% recovery. Suddenly, patients started complaining of hypoglycemia because they were diabetic and their sugar started coming down. So I said, maybe just today you might have not eaten food. Next day, third day, continuous complaint was coming from them. So I said, then okay, maybe you have to reduce your dose of diabetic medicine. And same time, we saw that the blood pressure, which was high, always remaining high, like 180 by 95, 100. Suddenly the patient said my blood pressure is 120 by 75, 80. So that's where we stop or reduce the allopathy medicines. We are continuing this research work. We cannot say with one patient, but we have got at least 10 to 12 patients now who are already reported and who were COVID positive, and in fact, recently, about few days back, there was in the newspaper that all the doctors are struggling to reduce the sugar of the COVID patients because the sugar is very high, and young boys who had never diabetic, they have got very high sugar of 300 and 400, and they had to use very high dose of insulin. So in fact, they are struggling, and here I'm getting the results very positive, and so I'm very hopeful about this coincidental finding.
That's very, very impressive. For Dr. Rupasha, you mentioned that you get garbage cases. So can you describe what exactly is a garbage case?
That means, there is a say disease process, and then there are symptoms because of disease. Then patient is taking a set of remedies to suppress some strong chemicals and all that. So sometimes they are taking steroids or some other medication or too many antibiotics for maybe many months or years. So what happens now? There is disease superimposed by another disease, which is caused because of the various all these medications. So and then finally at the end when they come to us, like it's a big confused picture. You don't know whether it is because of medication or it is because of the disease. So it's kind of really a tough case. These are the cases like almost you think that how do you start? Where do you start? Will we be able to help? So I call them as garbage cases.
Anyway, it's very, very interesting, your story up to this point, and you have many other things to share. I just wanted to ask whether we have that kind of time. How much time do we have?
So we don't have more time now. Maybe
Okay.
another
All
minutes
right.
to kind of wind up.
So,
I just wanted to say that to thank everyone on a Doctor's Day. We are very overwhelmed, with all the good wishes that we have received, and we continue to, live up to this. And this is our passion, so we'll, continue doing what we always do.
Sometimes our patients are our teachers. They teach us something, they stimulate our mind so that we think, okay, let's do something more research work on that. Okay.
so what?
So I'm thankful to all my patients and the God for helping us, giving us all this knowledge, and we are able to give these things to our patients.
And one of the slides that we usually show in many of our talks is that God heals and doctor sends the bills.
Okay. Do we have time for one more question?
Yes, just the last one.
Yeah. What is the challenges that you face in a patient? How today the patients that you had about 40 years ago, compare that to a patient that you have today. With internet, many of these people are going to Mr. Google, and then there are WhatsApp
Yeah.
doctors also. So, what do
So
you
they
find
consult.
that the patients today are tougher, nuts to crack?
They before coming to us, they have already consulted Dr. Google. Okay, so that's where the half knowledge will create a problem. Sometimes it's very difficult for them to make them understand because they pick up some rare uh, side effects of those remedies and then they say this is what it is like that. Anyway, we have to tell them that we are not giving any allopathy medicines. So there is no Dr. Google so far as we are concerned. So they cannot disturb us, like that.
I mean, they go to the Google Guruji, but it's not all correct. It's, all the information. There's like information overload. So I call it as there's too much of knowledge thrown, but there's not wisdom that you acquire over the years. So here, the doctor has the wisdom to separate out what is essential and what is not essential, and then guide the patient properly. Sometimes I laugh because they come up with all the list of things. Do I have this? Do I have this? Is this? So it's almost like our interview. So I have to be really smarter than Google.
Okay. Anyway, so it was really very interesting hearing from you. We would love to hear about some one memorable case that you can share before we wind up.
So the cases are many. Over the years, they have left a very deep impression in our mind. But it's incredible. Many years ago, I had a patient who had, got mental imbalance. After he had gone for a trip, and after that, when he came back, he was very exhausted. And the next day onwards, he had lost his mental balance, and he was doing all kinds of funny gestures, and he was talking very funny, and it became like very embarrassing that suddenly how a very intelligent fellow has lost his mind. And so his parents came and gave me the complete history. And at that time, I gave him some remedies, and within like a week, he was restored back to normal, completely like a normal person. So I was very overwhelmed to know that even, such mania or psychosis also quickly reverses if the right remedies are given. So the healing is not always just the body or emotions, but also mind. These cases have left very deep impression that as quick as, a week or two, and, there's complete restoration.
So far I am concerned, I have got lots of cases, but I feel very thrilled when I am seeing that I'm able to avoid surgery, the patient. This is where right from cesarean section to any injuries, bad injuries where patient have to be operated for fractures and we are able to heal, or those who have failed after the operations, couple of operations that the fractures have not healed, and that's where we are able to treat them and successfully treat it. And one of my success is because of I am able to make what is called as a stem cell inducing remedy. So it induces auto stem cells in the body and it targets to that particular organ. So we get some fantastic results. We have been able to treat sometimes unconscious patient and bringing them back to fully conscious state and normal completely. So these are some things which a lot of injuries and uh, cases like gangrene, patients are there to be operated and we are able to reverse it
Or
back.
non-healing ulcers or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we believe in integrated approach. That means all
Yeah.
the systems of therapies can be taken together and we use the most appropriate one for a particular patient. We believe in everything. It's like an integrated approach. All pathies, all systems have a place and we have to use it very wisely. So let me just again say a disclaimer that we do not claim to cure. This is interview is only for the purpose of information. We are just expanding our universe and opening it to everybody that there are other ways of healing. And we have covered a journey from allopathy to various other natural therapies. And it's only for the purpose of information that we are sharing our knowledge today. And we do not ever claim, never claim to cure anything. And we are not here to do any such claims or any such like.
Yeah, it is very clear that our thinking is like that. As I told you before also, that we want somebody, we can join hands and then work together instead of just talking about alternative part of it. No claims at all. So, and we have put exclusive disclaimer that please do not stop any allopathy medicines without consulting your doctor. Okay, so concerned physician, concerned healthcare practitioner, whatever we tell them that we will work together and we decide to stop or decrease the dose of the medicines. So we never, we are not talking about replacing allopathy at all.
Anyway, it was just great that you were sharing such good insight with us. And
Right.
yes, so anyway, so I think we can wind up now. Yeah, thank you very
Thank you
much
so much.
Thank you.
for
My
your
thanks
sharing your
to
experiences.
you. Thanks to you and to
Thank you,
all
Nandita.
my patients and the God that they have allowed us to heal all the people, whatever
Yes.
possible way we can do it.
Yes.
That's why the name of our clinic is Healing Temple. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Thank you.